Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you all step by step how to make my favorite dessert of all time, bread pudding. And if you stay till the end, I'll let you in on 3 secrets that will make it the best version out there. Let's do it. Alright guys, I'm going to keep it real with you. This video is going to be a little different than any of the other ones I've done in the past. It's time to take on desserts. Now, I've made food from almost all genres that you can think of. However, I tend to stay away from desserts, and I don't think I'm the only one in this boat. The main reason is because I feel like when you're cooking something like dinner, you're able to tweak things here and there. However, when it comes to something like baking, a little bit too much butter here, a little bit too much flour there, and the stuff is inedible. But screw it, let's do it anyways. Let's get a large bowl to begin with. We're going to be putting all of our wet ingredients in here, so make sure that you have enough room. Start with 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Also, make sure that you have a good spatula on hand, not only to get everything out, but also because we'll be using it through the entire recipe. Next, add a whole can of evaporated milk into that same bowl. If you're lactose intolerant, look away while you can. It doesn't get much better from here. For these next few items, grab those measuring cups that your mom bought you a couple years ago. Measuring these by heart is gonna leave yours broken if you mess up this bread pudding, okay? Okay, I may got a little carried away there, but for real, y'all, these cost like $5 at the store or on Amazon. Go ahead and pick some up. With that being said, you'll need about a quart of heavy whipping cream for this next part. Using your measuring cups, divvy out 2 cups into the mixture. Now, it's time for the main ingredient. We're gonna add 1 cup of brown sugar and whisk it in. It doesn't have to be smooth by any means, we just don't want massive clumps in there. Next, introduce our bowl to 2 cups of light skin sugar. I know you're thinking, this is gonna be really sweet, isn't it? And you're damn right it's gonna be really sweet. However, if you're one of those people who like their dessert not too sugary, just divide this part by half. Speaking for myself, I'm not one of those people, and I'm likely gonna add some more off camera. Anyways, let's spice things up a bit. You only need about a teaspoon of nutmeg for some flavor. I recommend 2 teaspoons of cinnamon as well. Heads up though, these 2 don't mix as well as the other ingredients, so you might have to do a little more mixing than normal. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, we just want everything even. Vanilla extract makes everything better. 3 teaspoons will do. Imitation vanilla is also fine here, and no imitation slander will be allowed. Here's my first secret to making the best bread pudding on the internet. Now, this right here is pretty much all you need to make a good batch. However, if you want to take it to the next level, add some of this, maple extract. The hint of maple syrup you get in each bite brings this from a 10 to an 11. Now, don't go crazy with it. 1 or 2 teaspoons will be good enough. This stuff is potent. Go ahead and melt an entire stick of butter in the microwave and dump that into the bowl. If you added all of the components in order, you should be able to do a quick taste test at this point. All right, so you're gonna need 4 eggs here, okay? So first one, you're gonna crack it open. Right. That wasn't scripted. Oh shit. The joke was gonna be that I was gonna pretend to drop the shell in there, but then I actually did it. Like, what the? By this time, you can either continue using your whisk or get a handheld mixer to finish the job. Once everything's nice and smooth, set that to the side for a moment. Get a square pan large enough to hold a loaf of bread and get it coated in cooking spray. Speaking of bread, for this recipe, I'm using a thick artisan loaf that's gonna soak up all the pudding. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all though, as always. This doesn't matter as much as you think. Even if you use regular white bread, it's still gonna turn out good. But if you do have a few extra dollars, grab some of this fancy stuff. You'll want to use your hands to tear the loaf into about 1-inch pieces. After that, spread those pieces evenly inside the pan and try not to leave any empty spots. Give that pudding one last mix, and without spilling it, get it all into the pan. You want to make sure that you soak every inch. Once that's done, use a spatula or a spoon to pat the bread down. You don't want any pieces sticking out so that they can get hard and burn. Now grab some foil and cover the top of the pan. We're gonna let the bread sit in the pudding for at least 30 minutes. If you have an hour to spare, that will be even better. Once you have about 20 minutes left in fridge time, cut that oven to 350. For my new guys out there, remember, let that oven come all the way to temp. Do not put it in early or open it up. When everything's ready, in goes the pan. And just because presentation is everything, including yours, don't make this and then show up with some tennis shoes and shorts. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, presentation. I made a second small batch that's perfect to share. Set your timer for 45 minutes, and until then, leave it alone. All right, guys, so it's time for my second tip of the day. Now we need to make a sauce for this bread pudding, and we can easily just take some powdered sugar and some milk, whisk that together, and come up with kind of this bland, boring sauce. But why don't we go ahead and build it from the ground up? It'll only take about 10, maybe 15 minutes max. Let me show you how to do it. Let's crack 2 more eggs. I didn't get any shell in it this time, guys. I was so proud of myself. Next, we add another heart-stopping amount of sugar in there, a half a cup to be exact. We're gonna whisk those two together until they become one. Get a pot over the stove and set it to medium-low heat. For the sauce base, pour 1 cup of heavy whipping cream and 1 cup of milk into the pot. Let that heat up for a couple minutes, but keep your eye on it. I was tired at this point, so I said screw the measurements, but this is about a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Once that milk is hot, pour about half of it into the bowl with the eggs. If you let the milk settle, it's just gonna curdle up and ruin the sauce. And you know what happens if you don't have sauce.
You're lost.
Make sure to whisk vigorously to prevent this from happening. After it has time to cool off, you wanna pour everything from the bowl back into the pot. I know this seems like a lot of work, but trust me, it will pay off. Continue stirring and keep that heat low. When the sauce begins to thicken up, for the last time, we're gonna add some more brown sugar. This step is optional, but for the coup de grace, add in 50 milliliters of bourbon. The pudding should almost be done now, so let's wrap this up. When the sauce gets to a creamy consistency, get it off the stove and into the freezer so that it doesn't continue to cook. All right, y'all, so we're almost done here, which means it's time for my third and final tip, okay? And to make this bread pudding the best bread pudding that anyone has ever tasted, you need to broil it, okay? Now, listen clearly. If you broil this thing for over about 45 seconds or a minute, it's gonna come out burnt and you're gonna have to toss it all your work down the drain, okay? So, wanna make sure to keep a close eye on it. We're just looking for a little bit of brown on top, and it's gonna turn out perfect. Let's do it. All right, 45 seconds. Let's get it. And there you have it. The perfect bread pudding for your next date night. Y'all can't say that doesn't look good. And about that being the last time adding sugar, I lied. Powdered sugar and a scoop of ice cream go great with this. But look guys, I appreciate you all for sticking with me until the end. Don't forget to check me out on my other social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a like so you don't miss anything from the date night. And check out these other videos on the screen now.